I joined a team that was working on critical national security projects. Now, I can't tell you what we were working on. That was classified. But I can tell you that it's possible the toothbrush you used this morning had more computing power than the systems we were using back then. And those systems actually were exponentially more powerful than the ones that had been used by NASA to put people on the moon. Sitting together in a terminal room back then, none of us could have imagined the kind of technological power that we would have today. But today, the really big question is, what's the purpose of the technology we're using? And I want to share with you a story about when I first came to understand the true power and purpose of technology. You see, early in my career, the chief engineer of our project called us all into a conference room and said, I need to tell you a story. He said, there was a fighter pilot who was shot down behind enemy lines. We used our technology to locate that pilot and save his life. Then the chief engineer shared with us, that fighter pilot was my nephew. We were stunned, and we were proud. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Then I fully understood, this is what we're all about. So now as we turn to artificial intelligence, we have to think about what we endeavor to do with these new tools. We have to think about the purpose of applying these tools. And this conversation can be every bit as important as the conversations we'll have about policy and the new technology itself. I believe that business leaders need to take a look at artificial intelligence and ask not just how can we generate more profit with this, but ask ourselves the question, how can we drive change in the world? In fact, we need to make this a business metric. How are we driving change in the world? Let me show you a video that'll explain how we're doing this at Siemens.
Artificial intelligence, AI, means many different things to people. On one end of the spectrum, AI is in our homes, helping in small, hopefully useful ways. On the other end, AI is Frankenstein's monster set in a dystopian future. Siemens sees AI very differently. We see a powerful tool, expanding human capabilities, not surrendering them. We see a way not to escape reality, but to improve the real one we live in. AI is here, now, helping people solve the world's biggest problems in energy, infrastructure, healthcare, and industry. It's helping smart cities improve air quality and aim for zero emissions, aiding us to see and understand more to improve healthcare. From electric vehicles that run on renewable fuels and eventually drive themselves, to a technician fixing a failing part before it breaks, or a manufacturer leapfrogging innovation cycles. AI doesn't replace, it augments human intelligence, allowing us to change the world in a positive way.
Siemens, ingenuity for life.
So you see, from the first time a human picked up a rock and used it as a tool, that tool elevated what the human could accomplish. And that's the same thing that we're seeing now with artificial intelligence. The real purpose of this technology is not to automate us out of the process, but to actually extend what is humanly possible. Now, I want to give you some examples of the kinds of applications we've been working on. You've seen a few here, but I want to share with you cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, as we enter this digital age, is becoming a significant issue for us. And we've been working in the energy sector, which is under constant attack, people trying to get into those networks. We've actually been taking tools that use data, modeling, and algorithms in order to help power plant operators understand who is trying to enter into their networks, try to identify the perpetrators, and help us resolve the issues. Now, you may look at that and say, well, then, I guess cybersecurity, because we're applying AI, maybe we'll have ourselves automated out of these jobs. But actually, nothing could be further from the truth. Studies show that we need millions more cybersecurity experts around the globe now than ever before. And that's because, yes, AI can help us diagnose, it can help us treat, it can help us understand, but it takes the human in the loop to truly develop the solutions that we'll need for the future. So as we get ready for this future, I'm asking leaders to begin to focus on the human intelligence that we're going to be needing to drive the systems of the future. Yes, we absolutely need mathematicians with PhDs, and I see some of you in the audience. We need those folks, but we also need welders and machinists. We need engineering students who take computer programming courses. We need the talent that's coming out of coding boot camps and out of apprenticeships and out of career technical education. You know, business leaders have done a good job trying to get this message out, trying to demystify and address the myths about automated intelligence basically taking our jobs away. But we need to do more. We need to go on the offense. We need to really focus on the investments that we're making in people. In 1983, when I was graduating from Wake Forest University as a mathematician, thinking about following my parents as a math professor, when IBM reached out to me and offered me the opportunity to come to the corporation and learn to be a programmer, it changed my life. And now I want to use this platform that I have now, a fantastic job at Siemens, serving as the CEO for 50,000 folks here in the US, to help get the message out. Leaders can't wait for talent to come to them. Leaders need to reach out and help develop that talent. So a final word about this, as we think about the talent we're developing for the future, let's think about diversity as well. Because the augmented intelligence, the AI that we're going to be developing, reflects the values that we ourselves possess. And we can replicate our values into the future world, so let's make sure that it doesn't represent bias, but represents the future that we want. So before I part, imagine this. Imagine a future in which access to education and lifelong learning is as abundant as the human capabilities that we possess. Thank you very much.